Alright, let's go. Number 10. The wall you cannot see. Look up at the night sky tonight. All those stars, all that depth, all that endless dark stretching away from you in every direction. You feel connected to something vast. You are staring at the walls of your cell and calling it beauty. The observable universe isn't the universe. It's a sphere centered on you, because you're at the center of how far your light horizon reaches, with a radius of 46.5 billion light years. Everything beyond that boundary isn't unexplored territory. It's not somewhere you haven't gotten to yet. It is permanently, physically, mathematically unreachable. The wall isn't made of anything. It's made of time and physics, which is worse, because time and physics don't negotiate. Here's what you need to feel, not just process. If you left Earth right now at the speed of light, the absolute universal speed limit, you would never reach the edge. The boundary recedes from you at roughly 6 times the speed of light because space itself is expanding. It's not that something is moving through space faster than you. Space is carrying the horizon away, and no version of physics permits you to close that gap. The wall runs. It will always run. It will keep running until the concept of you no longer applies. Put that in your body with a number you can actually hold. Every human civilization that has ever existed represents roughly 10,000 years of history. At the speed of light, 10,000 years of travel gets you 10,000 light years from Earth. The observable universe is 4.5 million times larger than that in radius. Your entire species history, translated into distance, is 0.0000022% of the way to a wall you can never reach. You are not a drop in the ocean. You are a single molecule in a single drop, and the ocean has walls that move. The universe doesn't present this as a challenge. It doesn't leave a gap, a loophole, a service entrance. It constructs the boundary, sets it moving at a speed no physics can match, and enforces it identically for every civilizations on every planet around every star that has ever existed. Nobody gets past it, and here's the part that makes this number 10 not number 1. Beyond that wall, in the infinite space outside your prison sphere, things are happening. Catastrophic things. Things that may be moving toward you right now. The wall doesn't protect you from what's out there, it just makes sure you can't see it coming. Number 9. The universe is erasing itself. Light is how you see. Every galaxy photograph, every map nebula, every cosmological discovery in the history of science came from light that reached your instruments. That sounds like science working. What it actually is a countdown that is already deep into its final phase. Right now, as you read this, galaxies are crossing the cosmological horizon permanently, not exploding, not dying, just receding, the space between them and you expanding fast enough that light they emit from this moment forward will never reach you. They don't vanish from reality. They vanish from your reality. Forever. The universe is actively, methodically deleting its own contents from your observable sky, and it will not stop. In roughly 2 trillion years, the Milky Way and its gravitationally bound neighbors will be the only things visible in the cosmos. Every other galaxy, the hundreds of billions we can detect today, will have crossed the horizon into permanent invisibility. An intelligent species 2 trillion years from now, looking up, would see only their local group and conclude the rest of the universe simply doesn't exist. They'd be right for all practical purposes. The universe will have erased itself from their sky completely. 2 trillion years sounds irrelevant to your Thursday. Run the logic in reverse. You exist right now in this precise window of cosmic time where the full contents of the universe are still observable. You were born into maybe the only era where comprehensive astronomy was even possible. That sounds like luck. Let it feel like luck for exactly one more sentence. Because what if something beyond the horizon, the catastrophic event you'd need warning about, the thing moving toward you, has already been erased from your sky? What if the universe hasn't just cut off your view of the past? What if it's already hidden your future from you? Scientists point out that photons already in transit are still traveling toward us. Ancient light, already launched, still carrying information. You can breathe, evidence preserved, except those photons carry information about galaxies as they existed billions of years ago. Not now. You are watching footage from a house that burned down decades ago and calling it a live feed. You don't know what's happening out there. You never will. The universe set that rule before you were born, and it will outlast every instrument humanity ever builds. Number 8. The Great Attractor has you understand gravity. You dropped something once and felt, physically, exactly how it works. It's the most familiar force in your life, the one your body navigates constantly without thought. Right now, that force is being hijacked by something we couldn't even see for decades, and it's pulling you toward it at a speed your mind is not built to process. The Great Attractor. Not a poetic name, a literal one. Something in the direction of the Centaurus and Hydra constellations is pulling our galaxy, and hundreds of other galaxies around us, toward it at 600 kilometers per second. You are hurtling toward an unknown mass concentration right now, this second, every second you've ever been alive. And for most of the 20th century, we couldn't even locate it because it sits directly behind the thickest, most optically opaque region of the Milky Way's galactic plane. The universe hid it behind our own galaxy. Feel 600 kilometers per second in units your body recognizes. In the 3 seconds it takes you to read this sentence aloud, you have moved 800 kilometers toward the Great Attractor. In 1 year, you travel roughly 19 billion kilometers toward it. In the 10,000 years of recorded human history, all of civilization from the first cities to right now, you've closed 190 trillion kilometers of the gap. You've been falling toward this thing your entire life. Every ancestor you've ever had fell toward it. We named it 37 years ago. In the 1990s, radio and X-ray astronomy began mapping behind the galactic plane. We found the Norma cluster. We found a supercluster. The monster was getting a face, and faces feel safer than nameless voids. Then the measurements got more precise. What we'd mapped couldn't fully account for the observed motion. Something additional, something beyond what even our best current surveys can resolve, is contributing to the gravitational pull. The monster has a shadow. The shadow is heavier than the monster. You feel none of this. Your body registers zero sensation of the motion. There is no alarm in your nervous system, no instinct, no reflex. There is no decision you could make, no technology that exists or will exist that would alter your trajectory by a single millimeter. The universe positioned the source behind a wall of dust, arranged your home galaxy in exactly the wrong orientation to see past it, and pulls you toward it anyway, silently, without explanation, on a schedule it set for itself before your sun existed. Number 7. The cold spot is a scar of the cosmic microwave background radiation. The faint afterglow of the Big Bang, the oldest light in the universe, fills all of space and spreads almost perfectly uniformly across the entire sky. Almost. In 2004, astronomers found an exception. They call it the cold spot. That name is doing an enormous amount of work. In the southern sky, there's a roughly circular region about 8 billion light years across where the temperature of the background radiation drops in a way no standard cosmological model fully explains. Not a tiny fluctuation, a significant, persistent, inexplicable anomaly sitting in the background of the entire universe, and it's been there in every dataset since we first looked. You need the size of this to register. The entire Milky Way, your galaxy, 400 billion stars, is 100,000 light years across. The cold spot is 18,000 Milky Ways wide. Line them up end to end and you'd need 18,000. It is not an anomaly. It is a wound. A scar burned into the fabric of the observable universe so large that the word large becomes useless trying to describe it, and it has been there since before the first atom cooled from the primordial plasma. The most comfortable explanation was a supervoid, a region with far less matter than average, which would cool photons passing through it. Empty space. Nothing alive, nothing that implies something happened. We found the supervoid. It's real, it's there. You can breathe. The cold spot has a boring, geometric explanation, except the supervoid isn't large enough and isn't empty enough to produce the full temperature anomaly. Something is left over. The current hypothesis sitting at the unsettling edge of modern cosmology. A bruise. A collision scar left by our universe making contact with another universe during inflation. A bubble universe impact that imprinted itself on the background radiation of everything you've ever known 13.8 billion years ago before matter existed. If that's true, other universes exist, they interact with ours. We have no model for the long-term consequences of that interaction or whether it's finished. You were born inside a universe that may have been struck by something from outside physics as you know it. You didn't choose that. You just arrived inside the damage. Number 6. The sky won't stop screaming. Radio telescopes are extraordinarily precise instruments. By the end of the 20th century, every major signal they detected had an explanation attached. Pulsars, quasars, dying stars, hydrogen clouds, everything loud had a name. Then in 2007, we found something that still doesn't have a confirmed one, and the universe has been producing them thousands of times a day ever since. Fast radio bursts. In a fraction of a millisecond, less time than it takes a single neuron in your brain to fire, something in the distant universe releases more energy than your sun produces in 3 full days. Then it's gone. The burst travels billions of light years, gets smeared and dispersed by everything it passes through, arrives at our telescopes as a single violent scream, and leaves no trace. We cannot confirm what produces them. Feel the energy scale. Your heartbeat takes about 800 milliseconds. An FRB is over in under 5 milliseconds before a single electrical impulse in your nervous system completes its trip from one synapse to the next. In that slip of time too short for your biology to register, something dumps more energy than a star burning for 6 billion years produces in 72 hours. Whatever is doing this operates on a scale that makes your entire solar system look like a failing flashlight. Some FRBs repeat. Certain sources flash again and again, sometimes following rough patterns, sometimes at apparent random. The universe keeps screaming from these locations on no schedule we can predict, at energies we cannot replicate, for reasons we cannot confirm. It does not broadcast to us. It has no interest in us. But it doesn't stop. Right now, while your heart runs its slow rhythm, fast radio bursts are firing across the observable sky at an estimated 10,000 per day. 10,000 times today, something out there releases more energy in a millisecond than your star manages in 3 days. If a source capable of producing one existed inside the Milky Way at close enough range, the electromagnetic pulse would tear through your atmosphere with zero warning. The universe doesn't give countdowns. It doesn't check whether your planet is in the way. There are 10,000 of these per day, and until 10 seconds ago, you'd never thought to be afraid of them. Number 5. The escape was always fake space is big, but big doesn't mean closed. That's what you've always believed underneath the numbers. Big just means you need a faster ship, more generations, more ambition. The history of exploration is a history of people looking at something impossible and building something to cross it anyway. That impulse is one of the most distinctly human things there is. Keep that feeling. I'll be quick before I take it. Here's the loophole. Physics doesn't forbid near light speed travel. The engineering is catastrophically difficult, but there is no law that prevents acceleration to 99.9999% of the speed of light. And at those speeds, time dilation activates. Special relativity means the traveler's time compresses. A 100,000-year journey might take only decades from inside the ship. The universe is vast, but time cooperates with you at extreme velocities. The loophole is real. The math works. Let that breathe. You have an out. Now here is what dark energy does to that out. The expansion of the universe is accelerating, and not gradually. The majority of galaxies in the observable universe are already, right now, receding from you faster than light. Not a few fringe cases. The overwhelming majority. Of the roughly 2 trillion galaxies in the observable universe, the ones you could theoretically reach, gravitationally bound to the local group, number perhaps a few dozen. The remaining 1.999 trillion galaxies are already in permanent exile, already gone. The destination retreats faster than you approach it, regardless of how fast you go, because the space between you and it grows faster than light speed. You can't outrun something that isn't moving through space. It's the space itself expanding. Your species' entire reachable universe, with all of physics and all of engineering available to you forever, is roughly 50 gravitationally bound neighbors in an infinite, dark, accelerating void. The universe didn't lock this door while you were watching. It locked it long before you existed and let the light from that moment travel slowly towards you so you'd find out when there was nothing you could do. You are not in a universe you can explore. The door closed. It's still closing. It is never opening again. Number 4. The silence is a verdict. You've heard of the Fermi paradox. If the universe is 13.8 billion years old and contains roughly 2 trillion galaxies, each with hundreds of billions of stars, where is everyone? It sounds like a puzzle, a thought experiment for a slow evening. Stop treating it like a puzzle. It's a threat assessment, and the assessment is not going well. The Milky Way is 13.6 billion years old. Life took about 4.5 billion years to produce us, meaning there are potentially civilizations in this galaxy right now with multi-billion-year technological head starts on us. We've had electricity for 150 years. A civilization with a billion-year advantage should be, by any reasonable extrapolation, impossible to miss. They should have reshaped this galaxy. They should be visible in every wavelength. The sky is completely, absolutely unbroken in its silence. Think about what 10,000 years of human progress looks like. Stone tools to particle colliders, campfires to nuclear reactors. Multiply that by 1,000,000. A civilization 1,000,000 years ahead of us should have restructured stellar matter, colonized galaxies, left permanent marks on the cosmic background. We should be living inside the consequences of their existence. We're not. The silence is total. One of two things is true. Either life is so improbably rare that across 2 trillion galaxies, consciousness assembles itself in isolated pockets only to die alone without contact. Or life is not rare and something kills it. Consistently. A filter. something every civilization eventually faces, something the overwhelming majority don't survive. The universe doesn't tell you which scenario is true. It just maintains the silence and lets you sit with both. Some scientists argue this is good news. If the great filter is behind us, then the silence means we're survivors. Maybe the hardest evolutionary step is already in our past. You have zero evidence for this. What you have is survivorship bias applied to your own existence. Every civilization that was wiped out by a filter it hadn't yet reached would have felt right up to the moment it didn't, exactly the way you feel right now. Like a species with a future, doing the math and concluding it was probably fine. The silence doesn't care about your conclusion. Number 3. The universe has a kill switch. Stars die all the time. The violence is real and it's been running continuously since the first stars ignited. But the violence you know about is local, specific, survivable with enough distance. What's running underneath all of it, the thing the universe has been building towards since its own creation, operates on a different timescale. Something with more patience than anything you can outlast: dark energy. Two words that look deceptively simple. Physicists invented this term for the force driving accelerating cosmic expansion, a name that honestly means we have measured something constituting 68% of the total energy content of the universe. It's doing something catastrophic in slow motion, and we don't know what it is. More than 2/3 of everything in existence is an undetectable, unnamed, apparently strengthening force whose only measurable effect is making everything fly apart faster and faster. That is the main story. You are a footnote. In roughly 5 billion years, Andromeda merges with the Milky Way. The stars are so spread apart it's mostly gravitational ballet, not demolition. Your impossibly distant descendants might watch two spirals perform a slow, magnificent dance. That image has always seemed almost beautiful. Hold it, then dark energy wins. After the local group settles, expansion takes over everything else. In roughly 100 trillion years, the last stars exhaust their fuel and go dark. Not a new one forms, ever again. In 10 to the power of 40 years, black holes evaporate through Hawking radiation, and there is nothing left to anchor anything. If dark energy follows the Big Rip model, it won't wait for the slow burn. It will shred galaxy clusters, then galaxies, then solar systems, then molecules, then atoms. It will reach into the nucleus of every proton and pull it apart. It will do this on a schedule it has been enforcing since before the first star existed. Your atoms are not permanent. The protons inside you right now will either be ripped apart by expansion or decay spontaneously given enough time. There is no configuration of matter the universe permits to exist indefinitely. Even the information of what you were, the pattern, the record, will be destroyed. The universe does not preserve memory. It runs everything to nothing, and then the nothing keeps expanding, and there is no bottom to that process. Dark energy doesn't distinguish between your body and the void. It always has treated them the same. Number 2. Everything you see is already dead. Look at a star tonight. Stare at it. You're looking at it in real time, the same way you look at a candle flame or a friend's face. You're not. What you're looking at is a photograph from the past delivered by ancient light, and the subject may not exist anymore. You have no way to know. And the reason you have no way to know is not a technology problem. It is a feature the universe built into itself on purpose. Light travels at 299,792 kilometers per second. In your daily life, this is instantaneous. Against the scale of the universe, it is heartbreakingly slow. When you look at a star 1,000 light years away, you see it as it existed 1,000 years ago. When you look at Andromeda, 2.5 million light years distant, you are looking at light that left its source when early Homo erectus walked the African savanna. Andromeda has had 2.5 million years of supernovae, collisions, and history since that light was emitted. You have access to none of it. Scale that up to where it breaks you. The most distant galaxies ever imaged show us light from 13.4 billion years ago, when the universe was less than 400 million years old. Those galaxies have since had 13.4 billion years of history. They may have been absorbed, destroyed, transformed beyond recognition. Entire civilizations, if such things happen inside them, may have risen and ended since that light was emitted. You are holding a birth photograph of something that is now ancient beyond comprehension. The birth photo is all you have. Here's where you think physics saves you. The laws of nature are consistent. You can model forward and predict what those galaxies are doing now. That's science extrapolating reliably from old data. Dark matter and dark energy together make up 95% of the universe's total energy content. You cannot observe them directly. You cannot fully model them. You are building your picture of current cosmic reality using complete information about 5% of the variables. The catastrophic thing, the thing you'd want warning about, might exist entirely in the 95% you are constitutionally blind to. You have never seen the universe, you've seen its ghosts. The actual present moment universe, existing right now, simultaneously with you, while your heart beats, is completely and permanently invisible to you. The universe set the speed of light, built the distances, drove the expansion, and arranged these facts in exactly the combination needed to ensure that no observer anywhere can ever see their own cosmic present moment. It built the blindfold into physics itself. It was never going to show you what's coming. Number 1. The kill shot is already in the air. Everything on this list has assumed one thing, that the laws of physics keep working. That space remains space. That the rules you woke up with today, the rules that allow your atoms to be atoms, your molecules to be molecules, your neurons to fire, your thoughts to exist, will still apply in the next second. I need you to genuinely sit with the fact that this assumption is not guaranteed, not philosophically, mathematically. Right now, in quantum field theory, the universe exists in a vacuum state, the lowest energy configuration of all quantum fields. The stability of everything you know depends on this being the true, permanent ground state of reality. Here's the problem. Our vacuum might be a local minimum, a false vacuum. Think of a ball resting in a small depression halfway up a hill, stable, resting, not moved in billions of years, but not at the lowest possible point. If nudged hard enough, it rolls. Our universe might be that ball. 13.8 billion years of stability is not proof it won't roll. It's a record of how long it hasn't yet. If a quantum fluctuation, a random, probabilistic, fundamentally uncaused event of the kind quantum mechanics produces constantly, everywhere, nudges the vacuum state at any location, it nucleates a bubble of true vacuum. Inside that bubble, the laws of physics are different, not adjusted, not modified at the edges, different at the most fundamental level, different particle masses, different coupling constants, different rules for what matter can be. And that bubble expands outward in all directions at exactly the speed of light. Here is what that means for you. Specifically, your body, right now, the bubble is invisible. Light cannot outrun something expanding at the speed of light. No signal of any kind can precede it. There is no warning flash, no pressure wave, no darkening of the sky. One moment you exist, you are reading, breathing, a specific person with a specific history and specific plans for later today, and the next moment the quantum fields composing every atom in your body are restructured into configurations incompatible with matter, chemistry, biology, and thought. Not death as you've imagined death. Your neurons don't fade to black, your molecules don't slowly disperse. The region of physics where you existed is instantaneously replaced by a region where the concept of you is not a valid question. You get no final thought. You get no fraction of a millisecond of awareness that something is happening. The word you're reading stops mid-let. You were here. Then there is restructured space-time where you were, moving outward at 299,792 kilometers per second. Nothing stops it. No bunker, no planet, no black hole. The physics that would allow resistance no longer exists inside the bubble. Here's where it sounds like you can breathe. Some calculations suggest the false vacuum, if it exists at all, is extraordinarily long-lived. The estimated lifetime of our vacuum state in certain models is so vast the number is meaningless to write. The probability in any single year is so small it rounds to zero on any human-relevant timescale. The math says probably fine. Then you remember how probability works. It doesn't accumulate debt. It doesn't build tension over time. It doesn't become due after a long, quiet stretch. Each moment the dice roll fresh. The universe has no memory of previous rolls. A trillion years of stability does not make the next second safer. Not by one decimal place, not by one part per anything. The chance resets completely with every moment. Right now, then again, then again. The universe keeps no tally and owes you nothing based on its history. But this is the sentence this entire list was building toward. If a vacuum decay event happened anywhere in the observable universe at any point in the last 13.8 billion years, the expanding bubble of restructured physics would be traveling toward you right now, and you would have no idea. It emits nothing detectable. It produces no signal that precedes it. It would be a wall of different physics, expanding silently at exactly light speed, and the first indication of its existence would be simultaneous with its arrival at your location. The detection and the annihilation are the same event. There is no gap between learning it exists and ceasing to exist. By definition, permanently. Not as a technological shortcoming. As a law the universe wrote for itself before you were born, it might have already started. Somewhere in the observable universe, in some galaxy we've photographed and named, in some region we've been watching with our best instruments for decades, the dice may have already come up wrong. The bubble may already be crossing the void between galaxies. It may be centuries from you, it may be years. And the light that would tell you it happened cannot reach you before the bubble does, because the bubble travels at the speed of light, and there is nothing faster. You will not see it coming. You cannot see it coming. You were never going to see it coming, and it may already be on its way.